What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Dipped in Tone. I'm Brett.
I'm Zach.
What's going on, man?
Man, just getting ready for Metallica next week.
Hell yeah.
Really excited. Taking Graham. We've been watching all the, Metallica's really smart in that they record live footage from their tours of, their most popular songs and then post them on YouTube. Uh-huh. So they're making untold amount of ad revenue from this stuff. But he and I have been, watching that and listening to the set list. So he's, ready and he knows all the songs. It's really exciting. Morgan is excited, less excited.
Dude.
But Graham and I are very excited.
That's proper nerd stuff right there. I've never been that big of a fan of anybody to look at the set list online and see what they might be playing that night. I just go to the show.
Well, right. So it's a 2-night show, right? That's what Metallica has been doing for a while. And Graham has very specific songs he wants to hear. And so I've been studying the set list because it's typically the same. They play night one's a set list ish, and then night two is a different set list, and there's the staples on them. And night two, the night we're going, is the night with Ride the Lightning and Whiplash and a lot of Fight Fire with Fire, a lot of the old stuff. And Graham is pumped. He loves it. It's funny. He'll just walk around the house singing Whiplash from Kill 'Em All, Metallica. Great.
So I am admittedly not a Metallica fan, and I recently learned why. And it is exclusively because of Lars Ulrich. Exclusively. Because I saw a clip a few weeks ago of, this was, I don't remember when this would have been, years ago, where they had a fill-in drummer. Mm-hmm. And it was someone well-known. I can't remember who. But it was the first time I had heard Metallica songs with a real drummer. And it ripped. I was like, oh, this is sick. And then you go back and listen to Metallica with Lars, and it's oh, this is not sick. I don't like this.
Lars is Lars, and that's part of it. Just like Kirk Hammett is Kirk Hammett. He's definitely an acquired team. Man, someone's
ripping in there, man.
They're chicken picking in there.
You go tell that boy he better buy that amp.
So I get it. But I don't know, there's just because it was, for me, I was 15 and I bought my first thing. But honestly, if you don't like Lars for the thrash stuff, I think Load and Reload, when it's a lot more groovy and slower, he's a lot better. But when it's really fast, he's a little, he's Lars. So, but anyway, how have you been?
Oh man, crazy busy. So we're gearing up for a big trip, middle of May, and we're going to do 2 bike races and a whole thing. And so I'm trying to get all my work done now, which means banking up videos, trying to shoot a video course and everything. And I'm at my threshold, nonstop all day, every day. I'm trying to do twice the amount of work in half the time right now. And it's gone back to just me, cause Chris isn't here anymore. So it's been, it's been rough, rough few days.
It's crazy, because I've had a lot of people from other businesses and other industries here at the shop lately, and they're like, so what do you do? And I finally realized, if you see it, I do it. And I think people don't understand how much that is. I mean, thank God that we have Addison doing the heavy lifting on this thing.
Yeah, dude.
But it's so exhausting.
It is so exhausting. I'm dragging ass right now. Because on top of all this stuff too, I'm trying to train. See these 2 races. And then I got Okay. So quick backstory and then we'll jump into the episode. The Mid-South, which I'm wearing the shirt for right now, was supposed to happen in March, right? That was the big bike race I was training for and the music festival that I helped produce and everything. And it didn't happen because of the wildfires, and it was a big bummer. And I've been training for that race for 6 months. It was going to be my first 100-mile ride, my first race and everything. So because it didn't happen, my friends over in Kansas helped me get signed up for Unbound, which Unbound is basically the Super Bowl of gravel. It's the biggest race in the world. It's a whole thing. So I'm doing the 100-mile ride there. My friend Bobby, who founded and runs the Mid-South in Stillwater, Oklahoma, was like, hey, we're going to do a ride called the Midbound Ride, where we're going to ride from Stillwater to Emporia in 2 days. And I said, sweet. And then found out a couple of days ago that it's basically going to be like, I think a 300-mile ride in 2 days.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to get all my work done, my video stuff done, my video courses done, and also trying to ride and train and stay in shape and get ready for this stuff. And it's it's killing me.
So, excuse my ignorance, but do people like follow you guys with cars so you can like get back to where you gotta go?
This will. So
Okay.
So the Mid-South has a YouTube channel and they make a bunch of content and everything. And we're filming this midbound ride because they want to make like a little sort of mini documentary about it. And because it's me and Bobby and a few other people doing it. And it's not real bike packing in that we're not like camping out. We'll have an Airbnb and everything. But yeah, we're going to be doing like 130, 140 mile days for 2 days. And we'll have like Tilly will be driving our new truck, following us and shooting it. They'll have another support vehicle, like leapfrogging and stuff. So we'll have support, but
Man.
it's,
I get tired mowing the yard. You know?
yeah, dude.
It's a push mower though, so at least there's that.
Hey, yeah. Yeah, it's old. Is it one of the old school like spinning reel mowers?
Hell no.
Man.
No. It is gas powered though. I'm not no electric stuff. My dad bought me an electric weed eater when I moved in my house, and I was like, "Why don't you buy me this?"
I want to ban leaf blowers. I'm serious about
Why?
this.
They're
What do you
effective.
Dude, it's
I use
the
mine all the
worst
time.
sound in the entire world.
I
That
like it.
sound penetrates everything. And here where I live, because Atlanta is a city in a forest, and so there's trees everywhere, and all day, every day, my neighborhood is nothing but constantly. And
Dude,
it
that was a
sucks.
perfect replication of that sound. That sounded just like it.
I'm pitch
Addison, can I get a
perfect.
sample of that?
I got
Dude,
you, bro.
I have perfect pitch for one thing and one thing only, and it's gas-powered leaf blowers, because it's all I hear all day.
Man, that's a 2-cycle Briggs and Stratton right there. I know what it is.
Ugh, I hate them. God, I hate them.
That's a Troy belt right there.
Anyways, Addison, what's new with you? How you doing?
Man, I'm hanging on too. I'm a little sick, if you can't tell. I know. I got
You look
I got
awful.
something. Oh, thank
look
you.
terrible.
Thanks, bro. I do need a haircut.
Don't we all?
Oh, yes. I've been fighting with Pro Tools for about 24 hours trying to export stems.
Is
and
that not the worst? Dude, there have been few companies that I've wanted to curse worse than Avid.
I've
They've
been
caused
pretty
me
upset.
so much pain over my life that I feel you.
So that's been my last 24 hours. I'm actually, while we're sitting here, I'm just bouncing stems. I'm soloing and bouncing because I just have to wait in between bounces. But I was working with something called Bounce Factory. Have you heard of this? It's Andrew Shep's, his thing. Anyways, I have one session. Everything else has been great, but this one session, yeah, Bounce Factory, exactly. This one session just won't work with Bounce Factory. I've done it 5 times. I don't know. So I just gave up. I'm going to solo him. And tomorrow's going to be a new day.
I was going to
And it's
say,
gonna be
I
done.
didn't know Andrew Sheps ran a indoor trampoline park business, but I guess
Half
that's what he's-
trampoline, half arcade, you know.
Yeah, you get it.
It's pretty good. You guys haven't been? There's one in Nashville. You should go. It's super awesome.
I can't imagine a faster way to hurt myself
Oh,
more
100%.
than being 35 years old and going to a trampoline park.
Wait a
And-
second.
And get a cold.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Get a cold. But you're going on a gravel. Don't break anything again. I mean,
Well, yeah, but that's different.
That's more dangerous.
That's different.
Is it?
Mountain,
Okay.
I had my crash mountain biking, and I was
Right.
on a jump line. And mountain biking is a contact sport, and I still do a lot of mountain biking. So
Okay.
there is that. But hopefully, this ride, we won't crash. I don't want to crash.
please no.
Yeah.
Please don't
No
crash. We
crashes.
need you, right?
No, because you're wearing spandex. So imagine like,
Oh, gosh.
yeah, it's like jump. You go downhill. I mean, some of these hills you're hitting 40, 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour sometimes. So imagine driving 45 miles an hour, opening up your car door and jumping out in your pajamas, and that's what being in a like road crash is like on your bike.
That sounds
thanks.
awful.
Yeah, so don't do that. I would not recommend that. Anyways, well, long intro today. If you want to support the show, join us on Patreon. Link is down in the description. We got a good crew of patrons hanging out here in the live chat, watching us film and contributing to the show in real time. And then they're going to get to stick around and get access to the bonus episode, which we are going to record right after this one. So, yeah, support the show. Mm-hmm. Check out our Patreon.
Thank you. Addison. Yo, man, there's going to be a lot of guitar in the background of this. You have a hot take, apparently.
Do
Let's
I
hear
ever?
it.
Okay. Do you want my hot take or do you want the hot take that I found from?
Hey, how would I know? You just say one.
All right, this is fair. All right, hot take. The brown panel Fender Deluxe is a much better sounding and cooler amp than black panel Deluxe reverbs.
Ooh, that's an interesting hot take.
This is from William.
Young William. So I think that the brown panel Fender amps, like a Fender Deluxe, brown panel Fender Deluxe, is the best Marshall Fender ever made.
Oh, yeah.
But would I say it's a better amp, more useful amp than a Deluxe Reverb from, 64 until 68? No, I think that a black panel Deluxe is a sound all in. Like it is such a useful amp that covers so much more than what one might think.
I have on loan right now a brown panel Super that I'm borrowing from my friend Ford, and it's fantastic. I prefer the black panel Super Reverb. The brown panel for context is the 210 no reverb. It does have the famous brown panel Fender harmonic tremolo, and that I think is like one of the biggest selling points of any of the brown panel stuff is it has that harmonic trim.
Yeah, so like a concert
amazing.
Or a Super. Deluxes don't have it. Princeton's don't have it.
Oh, I thought Deluxes had it. I know the concert had it and Super had it.
A Deluxe has a bias tremolo.
Even on a brown panel?
Yep.
Well, I'll be dipped in shit.
And I like those amps a lot. I think they're really great, but I think they're better when you ditch the tube rectifier, and I think that is what really sets it apart because that's what gives it that sag, but also there's just hey,
it's on brand, dude. You could have like loud neighbors that do like I don't know, dental work or something. At least his guitar stuff coming through the wall. You know?
But there's so much sag in those amps, which contribute to the overall like aggression of it. But when you really dime them, if you plug in like a humbucker or a P90 guitar, they just go when you hit like a low string. So
that's true. They are tweedy in that way, but they're not necessarily like the brown panel stuff is the stepping stone between the tweed era and the black panel era. But they don't necessarily sound like a mix of tweed and black panel. They really are their own thing.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I agree with this because they're just so different. A brown panel Deluxe, I mean, basically the only thing they really share is like the name and the general sort of layout of the amp combo 112. But like no reverb on the brown panel.
Total different tone stack.
Yeah. It's a great amp. I do love the brown panel stuff, but better? I think the Deluxe, because like case in point, I got to play Billy Gibbons' broadcaster, the one that he used for Jesus Just Left Chicago, and everyone was like, use a brown panel, and I was like, I don't know, we'll see. And like the rumor that I heard is for that song specifically, it was a Deluxe, like a black panel Deluxe. Right.
And that's what we plugged into, and we just like put it up to like 6, like the Dave Cobb setting, or doesn't he say 6? And it's like, man, that's it, that's perfect. So I don't know. When you get them pushed, the mid range it feels like it's coming back. It doesn't feel as scooped.
Yeah.
So I think the black panel, like the brown panel is incredible, but the black panel, I think arguably is a more useful and versatile, better sounding amp.
Hell yeah. Bingo bongo. All right. Well, submit your hot take to be read out on next week's episode, dippedintone@gmail.com. You don't have to be a patron to submit a hot take, but you do have to be a patron to submit a rig to be dipped, which we're going to do at the end of the episode. So
yeah, we got a doozy.
Great. I can't wait.
Yeah. Like
speaking of doozy, we got a news story. We need like a stinger here, Addison, like a
there you go.
Think 1993 Tom Brokaw vibe is what I'm thinking here. Like, you know what I mean? Like that era.
That's a year after I was born. Brokaw. I don't know.
Dude, Tom Brokaw. Hell yeah.
No, but like, I don't know. It's just funny. Anybody younger than us will be like, who is that?
I remember watching him as a kid because he looked like my grandfather and seeing him on TV and be like, oh, it's Papa on TV.
Yeah, Walter Cronkite, that guy too. Yeah, the whole thing.
Walter Cronkite. What was that movie he did the voiceover in? We're Back. Did you ever see that movie, the dinosaur movie?
Oh.
yes.
Yeah, that's
No.
Walter Cronkite doing the voiceover for the old guy. I've not seen this movie since I was maybe 8 years old, but someone can fact check me on this. Walter Cronkite did the voice of one of the characters in We're Back at the end of the movie.
Yeah, he was Captain New Eyes, it says.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember that movie. 93. I was too into Jurassic Park.
And that is what you
93.
call an ADHD superpower right there. My mind is a steel trap for useless bullshit information that no one cares about or knows, and I can't remember where I put my keys or my wallet. Because my brain is full of shit like that.
That's okay. So anyway, what happened, Rhett? What news came into our purview recently?
So Reverb.com, the website, and former sponsor of this show, is now, I don't know if it's official yet, if they've inked the deal, but no longer owned by Etsy. They've been sold to two investors, private equity investors, and it seems as though they're going back to operating as a standalone business again instead of a subsidiary of a much larger company. So Reverb's next chapter is a private company.
Yeah. So this news was published on their website on April 22nd. And it's interesting because this parent company is the company that owns Fender and has owned Fender for since 1985. Which is wild because they're also they do a lot of they have like car dealerships and stuff. It's a very look it up. It's a very strange story.
I didn't know they owned Fender for that long.
Yeah.
So they bought it from CBS in 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, really, I don't know if they're to thank for turning Fender around, but if you think about that era of Fender, that's when they started really paying closer attention to what the market wanted, kind of like, what Gibson did. But after the Norlin era, but that's when they started producing reissue instruments and getting back on track with making like the American standard sort of thing. Or I don't know, that model has had a 1,000 different names over the years, but yeah, it's a very interesting thing. And I have a lot of thoughts, some that I can share publicly, some that I can't, but I think it's a unique move for Reverb specifically to, I don't know, publicly announce this. I think that's kind of brave on their part.
I've been trying to wrap my head around this for the last couple of days. I have had some direct experience working with Reverb because they've sponsored both this podcast and a couple of videos on my channel late last year. And I really love the people over there, Jim and everybody. They've been great to work with, but you could definitely tell like there was some difficulties with them being owned by a bigger company that made their lives harder. And I don't think I'm speaking out of line by saying that. I think that's probably the case for a lot of businesses or companies that are owned by bigger corporations. It's like you kind of have an overseer giving you the final say, yay or nay, and they may not have all the intricate details or knowledge of your day-to-day business, and it just sort of gums up the works and slows things down a little bit. So in that case, I'm excited to see Reverb go back to being, as they put it, like a standalone company again. And the good side is, these investors, this parent company has experience in the guitar market, a lot of experience, 40 years of experience in the guitar market. And Fender, I think, has done quite well, frankly, over the last 40 years. I mean, when you look at their market cap compared to, Gibson, I think it's hard to argue that they have had some ups and downs for sure, but I think good leadership overall. So we'll see what happens with Reverb.
Absolutely. I mean, it's interesting, and I think this article and what you've heard is, this is not going to be like Fender owns Reverb sort of thing. So Fender is not going to be like captaining the ship of Reverb. And admittedly, there's some new stuff they're trying to do that's in this little article that hopefully will make it a little easier for people to sell and get paid. They're going to have the ability to sell music making software on the platform, which is cool. Not that that's going to be widely appealing for everybody, but I think the thing that most people will want is make the buying and selling act of moving their own gear more accessible. So a new option for selling that allows you to get paid faster and drop off gear locally without needing to create a listing or ship it, which is
That's
interesting.
nice.
But also, you know, does that mean if you sell something through the platform, if it's like kind of like a Craigslist, sort of a classified thing, you know, if there's a record of it, probably going to have to report it on your taxes. So there's that. I mean, technically, if you sell something, you make money on it, you're supposed to report it. But, you know, hey, everybody's, you know, you do whatever you got to do.
Hey, man,
you
look,
know?
whatever you want to do, you know.
Hey,
Okay, so the first two things here are really interesting to me. So we've been working to make more music making software available. That is a really smart move because for us guitar players, what did you say a second ago, Zach? You don't think it's going to be that? I actually think it's going to be a much bigger market than you or I may be anticipating because
I mean, I think for the big brands it will be, but like I think about Reverb mostly as a used platform or kind of like I mean, like as much as it is about selling new and for stores and stuff, there's definitely an aspect of it that is focused on allowing the small brands to have an e-commerce platform without committing to building a site of their own. So, you know, I don't think it's going to be useful for anyone that's not, you know, UA or whatever.
Right. But what I'm saying is from Reverb's perspective, I think it's smart for them to get into that market because I think that market makes up a significant portion of the MI industry overall. And it's only going to become more and more prevalent. I mean, you know, from a guitar player's perspective, yes, we have the plugins and the modelers and stuff, but when you back out from that and go to the more music production centric side of stuff, it's so dominated by software and plugins and it's only becoming more and more so. I think that's smart. And then we're getting ready to pilot a new option for selling that allows you to get paid faster, drop off your gear locally without needing to create a listing or ship. I'm with you. I'm going to be really interested to see how they implement that. And I look forward to using that because I do not use Craigslist. I don't use Facebook. I don't even remember how to get into Facebook. I don't remember my login or anything. And I don't want to go through the whole process. So I'm not a Craigslist guy. I'm not a Facebook Marketplace guy. The idea of like going to meet someone in a parking lot somewhere, and I mean, I've done it a few times and I hate it. I hate doing stuff that way. So I end up using platforms like Reverb a lot because for me, it's like, I don't have to talk to the person, meet the person, do any of that stuff. But I'm with you. I'm like, how are they going to offer that while still getting their cut of the transaction?
Well, you know, maybe that this is going to be like a payment platform. It does offer some sort of security because, you know, if you're selling to someone through Reverb, even if it's locally, you have reviews that you can look through, their feedback or whatever. Reverb has all their information. So if someone's, you know, rips you off, there may be a way to, you know, protect yourself if there has to be some way to, you know, argue with this person or, you know, heaven forbid, take them to small claims court because they stole something from you or ripped you off, you know, in a terrible way. But I guess there's a little bit of an umbrella for that. And I like the idea of having a platform that you could easily say, hey, here's the thing. I'll zip you an invoice. We can meet up at this time at this place and you can see clearly and concisely. Because Facebook kind of has that. But the one thing that Facebook and some people in the chat are talking about it being great. But the thing that Facebook kind of lacks is the fact that there's just so much crap on there and so many people on Facebook are trying to sell stuff at extremely high prices, like way beyond what stuff even should be. And this is not gear exclusive. This is the world over of, you know, used crap on Facebook. But I don't know. There are a lot of things that I want from Reverb that I think need to come back or they need to work harder to develop. And maybe that's something that we could chat about. Cause
what
I
are
have
those
a lot
things?
of thoughts. The biggest thing, and the thing that sucked more than anything when Etsy took ownership of Reverb, is they killed the API, which is like the code that connects websites in the back end, right? From Reverb and a lot of e-commerce platforms. So like Shopify, for instance, after the Etsy takeover, you could no longer connect your inventory from reverb.com to your Shopify website. You had to do it all either through a third-party software that is always hinky, or do it manually. So if you sold some on Reverb, you had to go back on your Shopify site and put it out of stock, vice versa. You had to upload everything twice, images twice sometimes. It's a real pain. And with so many small shops relying on Reverb as like seriously the crux of their business, to deny your user base that connection just is, I think, an atrocity.
Right, yeah.
And,
no, that
and
sucks.
I do think there needs to be better margins for people who do large numbers. If you're, like, I understand that, there's a processing fee. You can't avoid that. Every credit card processor has that. And there's going to be fees on top of it. But if you're selling one item a month or 100 items a month, I think there should be some negotiation there with how much your rate is. And this is from the retail side of it. And that's kind of how I look through all of this.
That's interesting. I mean, I can see that being your perspective now, especially with high voltage. I think from a user perspective, I've never had my Shopify account synced up to Reverb, and I probably never will, unless they rolled out some kind of feature where like I could sell my video courses or something on Reverb, which even then I don't know that we would do. I mean, a lot of people were complaining about the rate hike when Etsy took over. They went from, I don't remember what the rates were, 3%, 3 to 5% up to what, 7 or 8%, something like that.
Yeah, it's over 8 now because there's the card transaction, then just like another transaction fee.
Which is, some of that is the nature of doing business, right? Like obviously a platform like Reverb has to turn a profit. They're a business, and the way that works is they're going to take a commission on the sale because they facilitated the sale. I don't know that rate will ever go back down. I can't imagine it would. Like, why would a company intentionally, cut one of their revenue streams down? But that would be a nice thing to see if it's possible, is going back down to a more reasonable rate, which I think would spur more business, or even doing more promotional stuff on the front end, right? Where it's like, instead of offering like a sale, like on a discount thing, offering some kind of promotional, hey, if you're listing something this month for the first week, you don't pay a seller's fee or something like that. I think could be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, because here's the thing, because this is not just high voltage, because Mythos, I've been selling Mythos pedals on Reverb for ages. When the platform pushes so hard for you to bump your listings, which is now like I got a hair on my face. I can't get it off. Sorry. Everybody watching is like, why is he picking at his face? When every listing you have is trying to push that, which is now like a margin of the final sale price. Plus they're pushing you to do free shipping. So there's another bill you have to foot. Plus they're wanting you to do direct offers. So there's like another percentage off the top. So it's just like keep on chopping off the top. So first your listing can be seen, then someone's getting a good deal, then you got to ship it for free, and then bam, you still got 8% that you got to pay for all that processing. The margins get smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's something that I see a lot of stores doing, a lot of direct offers. And because that's something I do. I just watch stuff if I'm curious, because sometimes even if you're just watching something new, you'll get an offer from somebody else for the same thing at a discount, which is kind of cool. But also it's just like, man, I'm just constantly bombarded by these deals and the margins for these people. I mean, I know what the margins are. How are these people making money?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there needs to be more of an investment in the retailer side of things and not just the consumer to consumer thing, because there's so much new stuff on there, and I'll admit a lot of it's flooded. I think there's just too much crap on Reverb. Yeah. But I don't know. I think there should be this better sorting for new and old, and kind of do away with a lot of this egregious. It's not egregious, but a lot of these percentages that you have to just eat.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that was from Etsy. And I don't know. I've never bought anything on Etsy. I mean, my wife has, and one of my really good friends has a shop. She's an artist, and she sells a lot through Etsy. But I do wonder how much of that stuff, because a lot of that stuff happened after the Etsy takeover, where they started pushing a lot of these more like, bump listings and, free shipping and everything, which I've never done as a private seller. If I ever sell a piece of gear, I just put it up and leave it. Like I don't pay to bump it. I don't pay to do anything, and I just let it go when it goes. But I can see your point. Like if you're a volume dealer and you're selling a lot of stuff, that does take a toll on your bottom line. And some of it is, I think, a little bit unnecessary depending on what it is you're selling, right? Like I think the idea of bumping something from a private seller's perspective comes to mind when like it's maybe a more niche item, or it's you're selling something that's even, you're trying to sell a tube screamer. Okay, well, you want your tube screamer to stand out against all the other tube screamers on Reverb. You might bump it then, but yeah, for dealers to do it, I think it's a little weird.
Yeah, because dealers, for dealers, like we're working with such a small margin. Because if like you bought a guitar, you bought a Strat or whatever, then you paid $800 for it. You put it on there, you do all this, you're knocking off like 50, maybe $100. It's like, it's not a big deal because you're just trying to move to the next thing. But for a store, when there's just such a, it's not super thin, but there's not a lot of room there. And the thing that I see so much of is just like big discounts on like strings or cables. And I'm like blown away by people offering these sort of deals or these offers, because you make no money on that stuff. Like the amount of money I make on a pack of strings, if I sell like a pack of D'Addario strings, it's almost not worth having them. Like you have to have them because that's just the nature of having a retail spot. But no one's getting rich off strings unless they're selling 1 million of them.
Unless they're D'Addario.
Yeah.
Or the actual, like
you're manufacturing them.
Exactly. We had someone in Patreon chat. Paul said, though, if I see a dealer listing, I usually just skip over directly to their site if possible for that reason, which is cool. Yeah. I think most people probably don't do that because it's a convenience thing, right? It's just, I'm on the app, I'm scrolling, I see this thing, I click buy now, and it's, shipped to me in a couple days. But I think that is a good way to support a local business, which leads to the next side of this discussion, which is the guitar store in general, at least in North America, I think is becoming a more and more endangered species. I've had some conversations with one of my local shops. I won't name them, but they're a legacy shop here in Atlanta, and I know the people that run it. They're super sweet people, family-run business, and they recently had to close down their repair department to public repairs for a few reasons. One is because they can't find qualified help, which from what I've heard is becoming more and more of an issue across shops, everywhere. And two, it's like the amount of work that they're getting versus what they can charge for that work. It's just not working. And then from the retail side, they're getting squeezed by a lot of these bigger companies who are pushing direct sales, like Fender has been doing, where, that is a kind of a crazy thing to me, that a company like Fender, I think they are the biggest guitar manufacturer in the world, offers
probably,
both a dealer network and direct sales. Those two things seem contradictory to me. And it's actively hurting guitar shops.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Let's face it. The world is not really still the same world it was when we started learning, and like the mentality of I have to try it before I buy it, I think is fading. Except, I mean, there's like the Venn diagram of how much something costs versus, like the more expensive it is, you probably want to try it. Not always.
Yeah.
But I think for the average player, there's enough inherent trust with all these brands that they're just like, hey, whatever, I'll just order it online or whatever. Don't have to worry about it. And a lot of these guys, especially smaller guys, might not have the ability or even the knowledge of how to offer the things that bigger online retailers do, like setting up a firm or any sort of payment plans. A lot of small shops can't do that. They might not know how to do that. And I'll admit, it's a pain in the neck because I did it and it was like, why is this so hard? But like those things, the convenience of modern internet shopping, of Amazon, of all these places is totally skewed every consumer across every retail space.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, and like I try and, not to get on a high horse here, but I try and avoid, Amazon specifically as much as possible, just because I think they're doing far more damage to the world than any good they could possibly do. But I work with Sweetwater a lot. I mean, they're a huge sponsor of my channel. They've sponsored this podcast before, and in many ways, they are. They're a huge retailer that competes with a lot of the smaller shops like yourself, and they have helped to, because they've put all that work into the 55-point inspection and marketing, all that stuff, and they have such a robust service department and return thing. Like, I got a guitar from them the other day that showed up out of the box. I'm not going to name what it is because it's coming up for a video, but I played it for a while, for 10 minutes. The tone control just stopped working. And yeah, and no, that's not Sweetwater's fault because it worked. They went through their whole inspection process. It worked. It was fine. I think I just happened to get a fluke. It was a push-pull tone pot, and it's just stopped working after a few minutes playing it. But because they're such a big business and they have the logistical side of things down so well, they can handle all that, like free returns and 30-day whatever. And so it's lessened that barrier of like have to try before you buy, because that, well, if I buy it on Sweetwater and I don't like it, I'll just send it back. Yeah. And in some ways it's a good thing for the consumer, right? Because it's convenient. You can, get access to the thing. And especially if you live in an area where you don't have access to a good guitar shop, which is a significant portion of this country. Yeah. Sweetwater and other retailers like that are great. The downside is there are certain elements of a great local guitar shop that you cannot replace with anything else. No online retailer, no YouTube channel, no nothing can replace the sort of sense of community that happens. A lot of times the sort of generational knowledge that gets passed down. And in the case of this guitar shop in Atlanta, they have arguably the best repair department, the most qualified technicians in the city. And, when I've had jobs that are more intense, like bigger jobs, I take it to this shop because those guys really know what they're doing. And if that place closes, like there's a few other techs and stuff around, but like, where else are you going to go for certain things? Or if you live in a city where there's only one good guitar shop or one good repair place and it closes down because it can't compete with Sweetwater or Reverb or whatever, like that's a different thing. So there's like two sides to this conversation.
Yeah. I think that, as great as all those options are, from an online perspective, like Sweetwater has definitely made it guitar more accessible to everybody, and it is way more convenient and easy. But like all those things, like you said, like doing free returns, free shipping, all that stuff, those are like the costs that a small shop cannot bear. And I think because of like the size of these big retailers, and I'm not throwing shade, I buy stuff from Sweetwater all the time. I buy stuff from everybody. There's no ethical consumption in my eyes. So like you just got to buy it and be happy with your purchase, just deal with it. But like I think that those large retailers are really just going to keep their thumb on these small shops and or maybe their whole hand and push them down because you just can't compete. And anybody that wants to have a small shop, if you're in the middle of nowhere and you want to open a shop, it's nightmarishly expensive.
Yeah.
And unless you know how to market and still play the internet game, like there's just no way to survive. And it is literally a game. It is just like being able to stay relevant in front of people's eyes and having to pay the money for ads. Like we do a lot of advertising with Google, and like it's barely anything compared to what like real retailers do. But like if the average person said you spend that much a day just to get in front of people's eyes and you don't sell anything, they would probably faint.
Yeah, dude, it's a real thing. I mean, I do it with my video courses. We pay Meta for Facebook and Instagram ads. And I didn't believe in it for years because I'm always the person, I just skip whatever I see. But dude, like it's a real thing. I mean, for my business, it's completely changed everything for us. And so it's kind of one of those things that just, you have to do it from a business perspective where you're trying to like turn a profit and earn a living and provide. It's like, yeah, okay, I do pay Meta a certain amount of money each day, which I do think would, like you said, would shock people.
Yeah.
But you turn a profit off of it and it works. And I think to your point, if you're going to be in this game now, you're going to be in the retail game, you had better come correct when it comes to the content stuff, and you have to know how to do this. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot is sort of the old guard guitar shops can't compete because they don't have anybody there that understands social media. They don't understand the power of Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, and that you need to be on this stuff every single day, and you need to be in front of people every single day. That's where the next generation of guitar players are. And if you're not there, then they're not going to connect with you, and they're not going to become a customer, a lifelong customer. Because if you think about it, like how many guitar shops, the two guitar shops that I go to here in Atlanta, I've been shopping at since I was 18, 19 years old, 2008, 2009. And I go there because I have memories there. I have connection. I know the people there. Like they're my local guitar shop.
Yeah.
But none of them are online. They don't have any connection. And every time I go, very rarely do I see someone in there younger than me. And I'm 35, and that says something. And it's not a good thing for the future of those shops, I think.
Yeah. I mean, like to that end, like I think social media is like Instagram and all that stuff is very useful. But for everybody out there, if you are in the gear space, you gotta, I hate to tell you this, you gotta bend the knee to Google. You gotta kiss that ring, baby. And not even in a paid way, just like understanding how to get your business profile right, how to show up on Google Maps right, how to have all that stuff to where if someone just searches guitar store near me or just puts guitar store into their Maps app, you show up. And to that end, it's wild to me because of all the YouTube videos that we do and that you've involved me with, which I'm forever appreciative of. The number one source of social traffic for high voltage specifically is Facebook. Mm-hmm. So like, and not even from ads, just people looking at stuff on Facebook, because let's face it, the older generation and people that often have a little bit more money are on there, and that's how they're finding things. So man, like this, there's been a lot of times where I thought I need to make like a YouTube video to like break down how to do this, but then it's like, it's kind of giving away all my secrets,
Yeah,
So.
It doesn't matter though, man. There are like, I think you could do it and you should do it because I think there is far more value on both sides of the equation for you being proactive and sharing information like that.
Yeah.
It benefits everybody. It benefits you because you help to curate and build an audience of people that you build their trust. You're helping them by giving them the knowledge that they may not know. They may not know that, oh yeah, I do need to be ranked on Google search for maps and all this kind of stuff. And, if a small mom and pop guitar shop in Poughkeepsie takes the information that you give them and implements it, I doubt that it's going to impact the bottom line of high voltage.
No.
At all.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's true because I think the thing that I fear the most for all these small shops and the people that are a bit older who don't know the ins and outs of, really just Google marketing and stuff is that people get taken because so often there's people that are trying to sell you these services to do it for you when all this stuff is free. You just have to learn how to do it. And that sucks, and I don't know, maybe I should do some sort of video on that or a video on that. But I think one of the most important things, and the thing that these shops need to try to find more than anything to stay relevant, to be, to engage people and get them to want to come to the store. If they're going to do social media, you got to have personality.
Yeah.
And that is the thing that is so hard to kind of let out. Because even if you have never been on camera before at all, it's like, it's not normal. And also, like, it takes a long time to get good at this.
Oh, yeah.
Because Adam Savage, our hero, he said once that to be on television, that was him plus like 20%. It was like he really dialed up his entire personality. And like YouTube is still like 10% more than just himself.
Dude. Yes. When I started making videos, when I would talk to the camera, I felt like I was being so animated and so over the top and just crazy. It felt horrible. And then I would go back and watch, and I'd be like, what's up, guys? Today we're talking about how to stack overdrives and what we're going to, like, the difference of how it feels versus what is actually coming across, even now, is something that I struggle with.
Well, I think there's a fear of feeling disingenuous.
Yes.
Because it feels performative or something, but it's not. It's just like, it's just how you have to engage with an audience in a camera. And I think for both of us, you especially, that's one of the hardest things about doing like NAMM and stuff, is because people expect that Rhett that is like turned on when they come up and talk to you.
I am still not that I'm not that animated in my videos. Most of my videos are actually somewhat dry compared to some other creators in the space. Mm-hmm. And that's just because it's like, I don't have any kind of character or anything that I play in a video, and you don't either. It's just who I am. It is
me turned up though.
Yeah, yeah. But that's different than like having a persona that some people put on for a video or a TV show or whatever. Mm-hmm.
But having that, I know for me, like when I leave like the NAMM show floor, it's just like I have to like, my battery is like, it's blinking red down there. Like I have to completely recharge because I've just spent everything I had. Even just being like normal and nice, you know, it's like, it's not a character per se, but it is something that you really have to kind of hone in and dial in, because you want to be engaging and exciting with people. Yeah. And that is, it's just so hard. And that's the thing that I think a lot of these stores, if they're going to attempt social media, that's why I think a lot of them go to like, they do the meme route or they hop on trends and stuff, because they don't know how to hone in on who they are as individuals, as a store, necessarily publicly. Yeah. And that's the thing that if you just like take a piece of notebook paper and start doing a list of the things you want to present to the world, you'll eventually find. It just takes a while to find it.
You've got to do it, man. You've got to do it. And honestly, like I want to see the great mom and pop guitar store survive. Yeah. And many of them won't. It's just the way the world is now. But many of them will. And the ones that will are the ones that get this and that will hop on this, not even bandwagon. They just get with the times and understand that, like, look, the local shop here in Atlanta is never going to compete with Sweetwater or Reverb. The reality is they don't have to. Yeah. They can survive and thrive on a local community of people in this city that go to that shop because of the reasons I've been going to that shop for 15 years now, which is like, I like the people there. They're really knowledgeable. They've always got cool stuff in. I know every time I go in, I'm going to be able to hang out and catch up with the owners and the people that work there. And it's a nice space. It's a nice vibe. I just worry about them connecting. Like, where's that next generation of people coming in? The 18, 19-year-olds coming in to like try stuff out. I don't see it a whole lot now.
Yeah. And that's the reason we have to embrace e-commerce. Steve, the owner of Wildwood Guitars, told me ages ago, he said, every single one of your local customers shops online first. So you need to be proactive in presenting what you have available best you can, or at least what things in, like what type of inventory you have.
Yeah.
so that people know. Not everybody's going to be good at e-commerce. Not everybody's going to be good at making a website, but there's no excuse to not try it now because it's so easy to do it with Shopify or Squarespace or Wix or any of those things. You just got to try. And if you have an old tired website and you say, we've got a website, like, it's like, oh, we have a website at home, like one of those sort of memes. Stop. Like, make a real website that scales. It works on a phone. 75% of all your traffic is going to come from a mobile device. So like, just do it, fix it, and thank us later.
Yeah. Bingo bongo. There you go. Yeah. All right. We got a rig to dip.
I do. And it's yeah. Okay, here you go. You ready?
Take me there.
I don't think you're ready.
Whoa.
So this is Messine or Messine. I think it's Messine. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but I appreciate this image. So what we've got here, he's in an alt blues band. Would not have guessed that by the image in front of us, called the Stag Runners.
Hell yeah, brother.
His guitar, I assume the guitar on the right is called a Decca Boa.
What?
It's interesting. The guitar on the left is a Telebird parts caster, which is like, it's got a Strat neck, a Firebird body, but a Telecaster pickup and like potentiometer assembly and stuff. Pedal board. We have a Mother Mary, the Fly Fuzz, a Wren and Cuff Box of War, the Wonder Effects Wonder Drive, a Twin 12 from JHS, a Line 6 HX Effects, and then a Electroharmonics Expression. And the amp is a Woodson W150-8 and a homemade 2x10 cabinet. This rig is interesting.
And the purple coily cable.
Oh, yeah.
To round it out. Okay.
Funky good lovin'. Look at that thing.
These guitars are blowing my mind right now. Let's start with the Deco. What is that?
It said it's a Decca Boa.
Okay.
Whoa. It's like, it kind of looks like a Magnatone, but with a Brian May switch assembly, but it has a Firebird pickup.
There's so much
Filtertron
to look at here.
And a Telecaster bridge pickup and a Tele bridge.
It's like every time I look at it, I'm getting something new. Okay, so I was so distracted by the shape, I didn't notice the switching system. Yeah. So we've got the Brian May style switch. I love the pickguard, honestly. The little swirl at the end is pretty sick.
Like Prince vibes.
Hell yeah. But
it's funny because like it's like all swirly, and then it's like straight line right underneath the last pickup and then straight line.
Listen, aesthetics are not what this guitar has going for it. The pickup combination, I don't think I've ever seen before. So what is that? Is that a mini hum or a Firebird in the neck?
That's a Firebird.
Firebird, Filtertron, Tele bridge.
So like there used to be the Hot Rod Tele, remember that one? And that had a Firebird neck pickup in a Telecaster and then a Tele bridge.
But not the Filtertron in the middle.
Not the Filtertron.
And then there's the Triple Caster, which is Filtertron and the bridge, P90 in the middle, humbucker in the neck.
Yeah, I got your wide range.
But this thing...
I mean, like, I don't know what...
ChatGPT make me a guitar.
It does look like an AI generated guitar almost. It's interesting. The inlays are kind of cool. The 12th fret has like this.
The 12th fret to me looks like.
Look at this headstock too.
Hold on. The 12th fret one looks like a battery depleted icon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
it's like cable not connected icon.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I almost really like the shape. Almost.
It's close.
If that center waist wasn't so drastic, and if that lower horn, if it was symmetrical and a little less like I don't know how to describe it, the way that it is, it
flat.
Would be better. Yeah.
To me, this guitar has a lot of, somebody was making this themselves and they went, oh shit. They were like cutting it out.
There's a couple of things that are like that on this guitar.
But it's cool. It really does remind me of the old Magnatone guitars, which have this little tiny dual cutaway thing and a really cinched waist with like a large round bottom. It's like almost Melody Maker, Brian May, There's a lot of things going on here.
It's interesting.
It's weird,
interesting. All right, now the other one, the Telebird. This thing is rad. I love this. I would say it would look better with a Tele neck on it, a Tele headstock on it.
Normally, people put a Tele neck on it.
Yeah, it's something about the Strat headstock just it's not working. I think
if it had a reverse Strat headstock, that might be kind of cool.
No. I was going to say, or like one of the 70s big headstocks, but that I think would just be way worse. I like it though. It's sick.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Tele that's Firebird shaped, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you crying? All right. Pedal board is cool. HX effects, you love to see it. I say it time and time again. The Line 6 effects are fantastic. And there's not a better use of pedal board space than something like the HX effects. It's super good. It has everything in it that you would ever need. And you can take advantage of the loops, and you can even use it to do like amp switching. If your channel has a foot switch, that's something I had on one of my old Bad Cat amps, is I hooked it up in the HX effects and I had the channel switching in the HX effects, which was sick. Mother Mary, I don't know their pedals. I know they're like
guitar straps
and bags, right?
Yeah, but
they made pedals.
I don't know, it's in a gigantic, like a tone bender, like a late tone bender case.
Yeah, the big doorstop case, which is cool. Not pedal board friendly, but I like how they've got it turned sideways here. Makes it work. Rinnecuff Box of War, killer. What's the one in the middle there?
So that's the Wonder Drive from Wonder Effects. Nick Wonder.
Oneater?
Oneater. Yeah,
okay, yeah, cool.
Nick is a friend of mine, and I have one of those, and it's a great, really straightforward overdrive. Sounds awesome. And then the Twin 12 is like,
that's a slept on JHS pedal. They have
sounds way better than the amp.
Yeah, well, that's not that hard to do. But when those came out, I remember they were everywhere. I was playing church gigs at the time, and it was like you couldn't be a church guitar player unless you had like the Twin 12 on your board. And then they just kind of fell off. You don't see a lot of them now, but they're cool. All right, this amp. What is this?
I don't know. A Woodson?
It looks like a PA head.
It looks like one of those PVPA amps.
Yeah, so it's got 4 channels.
Yeah, high, low,
and he's jumped channel 1 to channel 4. So is that a cascading? No, because that wouldn't be an output on the bottom, would it?
Well, so it'd be high, low, high, low, low. So just like a Marshall PA head. My favorite thing about this, look at that. The reverb is a foot switch. On Man, if I had that on my amp, I'd just be like karate kick it. Reverb now, yeah.
This thing's cool, man.
I remember a lot. It looks like is this metal thing like a latch for a cover or something? Like PV made a lot of amps like that. And I don't know. I love this logo.
I want to hear this thing, man.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it would sound, you know, the band Electric Wizard, just some doom, fuzz, stoner, shoegaze metal. It's like, that's what that amp looks like. It sounds like to me. You know what I mean? It could sound completely different. I don't know, but it just looks like that. And then the homemade 212 cab. I appreciate the little bevel in the cab where it looks like maybe the speakers could be pointed away from each other a little bit.
It might be a slant vertical 212 cab, but turned on its side. Maybe.
No,
like a Marshall cab.
No,
it looks chopped it down the middle.
No, I think I see what you're saying, but if you look at the sides, like going back, those look symmetrical, which I don't know. Hard to tell. Move that Decca guitar and let me see the bottom, and then that would tell you. Yeah, it's cool though. I like it.
This is a wild. I saw this and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
people always say we pick like the normalist rigs, and this is different.
Well, we pick the rigs that y'all send us. Okay, don't
why
put this
you
on
complaining?
us. But yeah, listen, Zach and I are not, because the sort of impetus behind that comment is y'all are a bunch of vanilla ass like boring people. It's like we're sending y'all. We're showing y'all what you're sending us. Okay?
I'm just checking that inbox. Dog.
When you send us weird vibey shit like this, we feature it because it's cool. All right, so don't put that on me.
One of my favorite rigs we ever dipped was that one that was like in a garage, and there was like a racing fuel barrel behind it. It's like, man, I think about that rig.
Hell
sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I think about what that rig must have smelled like. You know?
Oh yeah,
race fuel's a different thing, man. It doesn't. It smells. It's got
motor oil.
It's got a scent to it. Probably smell like cigarettes and.
Oh man.
Oh God. Okay.
Anyway.
Okay. This is one of those rigs. I really need to hear it.
Yeah.
To give it a full, because some rigs you get and you're like, all right, I know what this does. I can picture this. This one, I have no idea what this rig sounds like.
There's a lot of gain here.
There's a lot of fuzz, which I like.
But then you have all the HX effects. I mean, I don't know. It's like this can do a lot.
This can do it. This is how you use the HX effects. You utilize analog, really good fuzz overdrives on the front end, and then you use the HX effects for all the modulation and time-based stuff because it's great at that. And it has the drives too, but
Yeah.
All right. What would I change?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I would put I want to see a telly headstock on that telly bird.
Sure.
The Decca, it's so fuck ugly that it's cool. Like it ticks that box. It's weird and ugly enough that it's kind of sick. It's rad. I like it. Pedalboard's cool. The amp looks rad as all hell. This is an 8.7 for me.
Oh man. Yeah. I'm thinking 8.2. I don't know. That was the number that came into my head, but it's big fun.
Big
and
Big sound.
If Stag Runners is on Spotify, we'll find out. We looked up Elephant Rifle.
Hell yeah.
And it was good.
Dude, they rip.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, so if you want to submit your rig to be dipped, join us on Patreon, and you could submit your rig. We have a submission form set up for that now? How did you get that going?
We're going to make dippedintone.com at some point. But just email it. Email it to dippedintone@gmail.com. But for rigs, you must be a patron.
Oh, there's L-theanine in this. I thought for a second that Tilly had bought weed drinks because I'm like, I feel weird, and it's not. It's not weed. But what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Patreon rig dipping. Great, good job, awesome.
Do you have a shill, Mr. Shill?
I do have a shill.
Oh, me too.
You want to go first? I went first last week.
Yeah. So this one quickly sold out, and I was really excited to get one when I ordered it from our supplier. Yeah. One of the MXR Rockman X100 pedals.
People are amped on those things.
It sounds good. It sounds better than the Rockman does. And when you move the little sliders, it doesn't go.
Yeah. Man, for some reason, I had more people requesting me to make a video about that pedal than any other pedal that's ever come out. And I was like, well, RJ Ronquillo already did the video. And I'm not going to do that pedal video better than RJ.
No one on this planet could do the demo of this better than RJ. But basically, it's the Rockman X100 like little rack thing in a pedal form, and you can have two different cleans. You can have a distortion or edge, which is kind of like overdrive. They're both very distorted, and then a chorus sound. And I don't know if there's any way to like change the rate and the depth of the chorus internally. Honestly, I just plugged it in to make sure it worked, and because we got this, at first we got it for store stock, and then it went out of stock so quick. I was like, let's just get it and have it for fun, and we're just keeping it, and I love it. It's really fun, and it's like super cool. It
looks the part for sure. If you've ever seen a real one, isn't the story on the Rockman that it was the dude from Kansas?
It's Boston, Tom Schultz.
Boston. Yes, that's it. Tom Schultz. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I had heard that story before, and then
like listening to that Boston record, like Jeff and I were listening to it the other day out in the shop, and it sounds so good. It's one of those like seminal moments in rock, like guitar music where it's like, like it just leveled up a little bit. Even Tom Murphy, we were, when we were refinishing my R9, some of that record came on the radio, and he was like, man, when we first heard this, we all freaked out. And I was like, dude, I believe it. It's great.
The chat says, Tom Scholl's MIT grad working at Polaroid during the day, recording in a basement a quarter the size of Rhett's.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I know that record well because anyone who lives in the greater Atlanta area knows about 97.1 The River, our local radio station. That I listened to religiously when I was 16, 17, 18 years old driving, because it was like the radio in my car was broken and I managed to get it tuned to 97.1. And so they play, even to this day, they play the same damn playlist that they have done for 20 years. And it's like got to be 15 songs that they just play over and over again. And there's a few Boston songs on there. Anyways, they also had a weird stinger for years, you know, radio station like ID stingers. For no joke, for 12 years, I want to say, after that radio, because that station came out when I was in high school. And for 12 years, their stinger was the same. And it was like, the new 97.1, The River. And it was like, guys, the station's 8 years old now. Like, let's get get the VO guy back in here. And like,
man, we paid that guy $100
yeah.
and we're going to get our money's worth.
Oh, man. Special place in my heart. My shill is behind me here. It is this guitar stand. So I got this a couple of weeks ago. See if I can pick up the camera here. Oh, nope. It's going to rip the cable out. Never mind. Cower Guitars builds these stands. They're called DRS racks. And
Durs.
Evidently, they use them in their shop. And the ones they have in their shop have casters on the bottom, but they're stackable. So that's two separate racks there. You can buy the one sitting on top. You can buy just as like a standalone, you know, floor rack, or you can get the lower one, and then they stack on top of each other. There's like steel pin that drop in, and you stack. Super sturdy. It's like birch ply. It's a really nice, high quality plywood, and they go together real easy. And it holds 2, 4, 6. Wait, 2, 4, 6, 7, 14 guitars.
Man, look at that.
Look at it, and
That's
it fits
nice.
the space perfectly.
Yeah, it fits right between that door and closet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although, does the door open outside?
It opens inside, and it goes to the bathroom in here.
Oh, okay.
But I can get to it's a Jack and Jill bathroom, and it connects to my wife's office. So when I have to go to the bathroom, I just walk into her office and go the other way.
Okay.
It's less than ideal.
I did.
Okay,
Well, I just didn't want that door to like swing and
No,
then
it doesn't
smack
go the
on
way.
the stand.
Oh man,
I don't need to know your bathroom habits.
Todd says, I know Rhett still has that old Shane Company commercial memorized. I do. Shane Company. In Gwinnett, Alpharetta, Kennesaw, and somewhere else. Anyways.
Well, you had it memorized.
I had it memorized. Well, thanks for hanging out, y'all. We're going to jump into the bonus episode for the patrons. And please subscribe here on YouTube or wherever you are listening to the podcast. And we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.